everybody, and welcome to Screamers for Scripture. My name is Brandon. Normally, I would be joined by Michael, but he was abducted by aliens and is forced to learn the alphabet backwards by Martians, so he's busy right now. Today, I was able to chat with Stephen MacConville, I hope I'm saying that name right, of Confessions of a Traitor. I have loved this band for a while. We did Meet Your Maker on the last episode, so I've just been we're going through UK right now. Today we got to talk about their brand new album, This Pain Will Serve You, a contender for Album of the Year. I would definitely say I agree. And we got to talk about their upcoming tour, the Saints and Heathens tour. Some of those dates are co-headlining with Bloodlines, and they're joined by Meadows and No Treaty for some of those dates as well. It is going to be an awesome time. I'll leave links in the description for both of those things I just mentioned. And yeah, it was a great time. What do you have to say about it, Michael? Nothing, because you're not here. On to the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Screamers for Scripture. Michael could not join us today, but luckily we've replaced him with the best replacement I could ask for, Stephen from Confessions of a Traitor, but more importantly, a BioShock fan.
The
How
most important factor this evening.
Exactly.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm excited to be talking to you. I'm just excited in general. I've got that kind of golden retriever energy, and I just love chatting, mate. I love chatting.
We like to see it, and I mean, you're gonna need that. You're gonna be traveling a lot in the coming weeks. The
Absolutely.
Saints and Heathens tour. I'll be seeing you in Atlanta.
That's right. That's right. Do you know, it's not my first time to Atlanta, but it's our first time playing there. Yeah, I actually, on the last run that we did through the States, I drove through it twice, and I was like, why are we not playing Atlanta? Why are we not here? So, yeah, I'm very familiar with this, the giant Olympic torch that sits by the roadway. I'm very excited to go and play Atlanta this time around, and excited to meet you in the flesh. I think we'll end up doing an in-person podcast as well, which is what we kind of we were chatting about over Messenger.
Absolutely. And I'm actually a Florida man, so I'm like, but I'm headed, I want to head there. I mean, not only is it going to be you guys, but it's Meadows and No Treaty, Lightworker, and The Tarnished at that show, I think. Yeah. So that's like, I would travel hours for almost all those. So the fact that it's all of them, I'm like, sign me up.
Do you know what? When we started to build this tour out, originally it was us and Bloodlines and Lightworker. We're going to do the whole thing together, and then Dan, the guitarist in Bloodlines, got married, and he's doing his honeymoon in that first week. And we were like, well, we've got the time off. We planned the time off. Let's do it. And our booking agent was like, well, who do you want to bring out for the first week? And I said, I'm Christian, and Christian from Meadows, and I've developed a bit of a relationship online. Like, I just really like his band. And I was like, well, I want to bring out Meadows. Like, I love that band. And then Trevor Tyson, who's again a very good friend of mine who you've had on the podcast already, he messaged me and he was like, oh, how would you feel about bringing out No Treaty? And I was like, well, this No Treaty. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So it was like one of those like kind of serendipitous, like fell in the right kind of moments. And I don't know if because you've had Danny on here as well, haven't you, from No Treaty? Yeah, I think one of their first ever shows was with us and Convictions in Richmond, West Virginia. So last year. And this is their first ever tour, and we're taking them out on it. So I'm just very excited. It feels like, you know, the Lord's working and his magic with us, and it's all kind of coming together. So yeah, I've got a lot of time for those boys, and I'm just very excited. I'm very excited to see Meadows play. Like, I love that band.
It feels like I actually I always try to research my guests. I watched the Kingdom Core podcast you were on a few years ago, and I really feel like you're just super excited to meet all the bands that you liked before you started yours.
Dude, you wouldn't believe. I'm such a huge fan because, like, likewise, I did my research on you. I've watched a couple of your podcasts.
Thank you. That's sweet.
It's great, and it's also like you've taken the time to talk to me. So why wouldn't I take the time to like listen and watch your stuff? You had Mike on, and Mike's a very, very close friend of mine, and also your teacher. I just watched the one with Matt and Dave from Meet Your Maker as well, and they're very good friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, didn't Matt's video messaged me saying, "Get back to these guys and get on." I was like, "Oh yeah, I've been meaning to."
For listeners out there, when we had Matt McKay and Dave Boyle from Meet Your Maker on, another UK metalcore band, and after recording, he pulled out. I mentioned that we were in talks with you guys to have on the show. And when I said that, he pulled out his phone and just started recording us, and I was like, so that wasn't in the episode.
That's a show. I might send you the clip just so that you can use it at some point. But yeah, long and short, I hold such reverence for these bands, like, because you guys are based in America, we don't really get to see any Christian music over in the UK. So when it comes to being in America, like, I get so excited about seeing and playing with these bands, and especially because we're like, a lot of us are on the same label as well, and we just interact online, and it feels a lot closer than it actually really is for us. So, and to be honest, mate, I'm a huge music fan as well. So I just love getting out. I love seeing bands, and I love seeing the support bands for the tour, like the openers and stuff like that. So yeah, I just love being around music is the best way to describe it. So if I give off that kind of like golden retriever excited energy, that's because I just love it, mate. I love it.
That's a good thing. The golden retriever energy. That's just happiness. That's another way of saying happy.
Yeah,
so I don't think
positive,
that's bad.
man. Just positive.
Yeah, I do the same thing though. Like I said this to Trevor when I met him in person. I think it was in February. Convictions did the Southern Exposure tour. And I actually hadn't listened to Heal the Hurt yet. That was like at the end of 2024, I really started to niche down. I had been a War of Ages, Demon Hunter, and then I just stuck with them, and they're great. Don't get me wrong. But I started niching down, getting into bands that had just started, like No Treaty and Heal the Hurt. So I saw them on that tour, on the list of bands that were going to be with them. And by the time I got there, I had every single song they made on my main playlist because it was so good. But I do the same thing. I'm so stoked to see openers almost as much as I am for headliners.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Actually, at the Atlanta show, Trevor's planning to come down as well. So it would be, he lives in Atlanta. So it would be a bit of a hangout. But where in Florida are you based?
I'm in like southern Florida, so like bottom of West Palm Beach area. So I pretty much anytime a band's in Jacksonville, I'll make a 3.5 hour drive, and that's where I get all my shows. I saw Identify the Body with Blood Comes Cleansing and Convictions in Jacksonville over this year so far. So I was happy that you guys were able to like come over and get relatively close. I got, one night in Airbnb, get to see a ton of bands that I love.
Cool.
So thank you guys.
Oh, no, thank you, man. Like, we were actually in Jacksonville last year with Convictions. So
was it the Aggressive Worship tour?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I'm so upset that what I will say is I think this tour that you guys are doing now is going to be one of those tours that people look back on and they're like, I wish I had gone. I should have made it, because these are all bands that are like newer, relatively newer, especially No Treaty, obviously. But you are all going somewhere, like, very fast. These are all bands that are rising. I'm talking because it's great music.
You're making me blush, man. You're making me blush.
Well, Um, not I'm saying that from a place of it's great music, but also literally the numbers for all you guys are going up. So yeah, that's going to be a great tour. And this pain will serve you live. I'm so excited for that. By the way, all the newer songs live. That's going to be epic, man.
Yeah, we played our album release show in London, which is our hometown in the UK, on Saturday, and it was completely sold out. And it's our first sellout
Wow,
of a London like show ever. So it's
that's
certainly
epic.
reflected on the release of this record. So we're all a bit kind of like shell shocked around what's happened, and feel super blessed to be in this position where we had a number of people fly in from different countries for the show. So it's like,
Wow.
wow, okay, this is, yeah, it's certainly resonated with people on a level that even I didn't really think it was going to happen. So yeah, and I'm a big stats guy. I like looking at numbers, but every time I open up my Spotify account, I kind of go, huh, that's gone up again. Significantly. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit crazy to me right now.
I mean, looking through all like the Christian metal Facebook groups and stuff like that, it's been a minute since I've seen this much love for a metalcore release all at once. Like I don't think I've seen a single person be like it was pretty good. Like it's all just been this is the album of the year, album of the year. I've been seeing that a lot. So, brace yourself.
I do I don't like to like I'm not I just feel very privileged. Like I feel very
Mhm.
lucky. I I think the record itself from a lyrical perspective is very honest, and I think in the current climate of music, it's very easy to just have just waffle, like just nonsense. And like, don't get me wrong, like I love a good ignorant metal song. Like metal in of itself is inherently dumb. Like it is distorted guitars, loud drums, and some guy sweating and screaming at you. Like you on
Mhm.
paper it's a bit like, but I think when you start looking at like genuinely putting like honesty and um like true stories into your songs, it resonates with people on a different level. And I know for myself, some of the most important music I've ever listened to, musically is great, but the lyrics really elevate it to that next echelon. So I'm not saying that the record is there. I'm just saying that for me, I feel like I've written the most honest lyrics that I possibly can do, and it seems to be striking a chord with people. Yeah, I'm in those groups as well. I linger around in the background, and
Mhm.
I keep seeing it, and I'm like, me, us, like
Guys.
you gotta stop. Like I'm just twirling my head. Stop talking about us like that. But like, yeah, it's incredibly humbling, and I feel very blessed to be, all of us do, to be in this position where we feel like we've written a good record, and it seems to be resonating with people. And I guess that's all we can really ask for.
Well, that's for one, as someone not as me, someone not in the band, you did do it.
Thank you.
And also, no problem. And that's a big blessing, a big blessing for people, especially who buy physical, um, media, because I know a lot of people like to play the physical like, CDs or vinyl or whatever and pull up the lyrics, whether it's on their phone or in pamphlets or whatever. And that's a big blessing too, especially in metal. You're right, because when you get harder and harder, once you go metal, metalcore, deathcore, grindcore, the
Yeah.
lyrics just kind of degenerate from there. So
Uh,
it's nice
yeah,
to have the night like poetic, reflective lyrics, and a lot of bands do that. I'm not saying like
completely.
every
Yeah.
band has bad lyrics, but um, it's nice when the effort's in there for sure.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like I feel like I've written an honest recount of stories that have happened to us in the last year, and that's all I can do. is recount our experiences through, my beliefs and my kind of, I guess, vision of things. And that's the same for everyone else who's writing music as well. So who am I to judge another person's music? It's just what resonates with me tends to be this style of writing, is that kind of real honest, like, yeah, saying that. And I like I said, I love, you know when someone barks down the microphone and all you hear is dun dun dun, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. So like I've got such an eclectic music taste, not just metal as well. So, and there's a
Mhm.
time and a place for everything. So yeah, again, it seems to be resonating, and that's all I can say.
Yeah. I mean, I could sit here and compliment the album all day long, but I do wanna talk about some of the singles that you dropped on album release day. Um, it's hard to say that I have a personal favorite, but one of the ones that I've been listening to and it's stuck with me is Let It Consume Me. Obviously, I love War of Ages, but also, um, especially getting into the lyrics earlier, I want to know kind of what went into that, because that one, like, I feel like gives the vibe of there being a story behind it, but it's a very like I'll let you go ahead. I won't
Yeah.
get
So,
into it.
I mean, for starters, to have Leroy from War of Ages on that record is truly just the most incredible thing. Like, I've been listening to that band since I was about 15, and I've looked up to that man for the longest time as not just an incredible lyricist, not just an incredible singer, incredible front man, and the things he does just generally in the like his community and his church and stuff like this is such an inspiration. So he's a genuine like inspiration for me and somebody I look up to. And I remember when we were kind of talking about, we wanted to, as there's a lot of collaborations on the record. And it's like working with people who we genuinely look up to and want to work with. And also some other cool bands as well that, aren't necessarily within the Christian scene, but like people we've toured with, secular bands who some of them hold some kind of level of faith as well. So it's one of these things where I mean, I reached out to Jason, who heads up our label Face Down Records, and said, "Hey, would Leroy and War of Ages be up for a collaboration?" He was like, "Yeah, let me talk to him." And within like 15 minutes, so there was an email from Leroy in our inbox, and I was like, "Oh," and I was just trying to keep
It's
my
him.
yeah, I was just trying to keep my cool. I was like, "Yeah, it's all professional and everything like that." But yeah, just to have him on the record to begin with is an incredible blessing. But the song itself is about my struggles with body dysmorphia. So I
Mm,
really struggle with self-image and the way I feel about the way that I look. And this has been an ongoing issue that I've had since I can remember. And it's a true, honest depiction of how I feel within my own skin. So, I work out all the time. I look after myself. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't take drugs. I'm not a person that abuses my body by any stretch of the imagination. And I can't sometimes look at myself in the mirror and think, yeah, you look and feel healthy. Like I really beat myself down about it. And the probably the some of the lines, especially the ones that Leroy sings in there, are I was created in his image, but I despise mine. This is sacrilege of the divine. It's like, well, how can I hate something that God created? But it's simply put, like, but I have that struggle. I know that we're created in his image, but I can't see that. And I have like blinkers on
mm,
when it comes to that. And yeah, again, the chorus reflects that. And it's like, I was born blind to see promise, born deaf to hear
yeah.
solace. And it's like, whatever is what, I may feel, I may, look outwardly like a strong, confident person, but inside, like I'm really tearing myself up about it. So it's a genuine reflection on how I feel. And it's not all the time, but it's like it comes in waves. So there are sometimes I feel incredible about myself, and then there's other times that I'm just like constantly down about it. So it's about that struggle, and I know a lot of people suffer from it as well. So again, we talk about I always want to have some kind of resolution within our music, and it's not just, oh, this is so sad, this is so sad, this is so negative, and everything sucks. And it's like, no, it's not that at all. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So I like to resolve the songs at the end like there is hope, and there will be hope if you continue to work, and you continue to look after yourself, and build from the pain that you hold within yourself. So yeah, that's kind of the story of Let It Consume Me. And it's, the irony is well, it's like a double-edged sword, the song title with like, I let the feeling of it consume me, but it tends to be around, what you consume within your body, like makes you feel bad about yourself. So it's, yeah, I try and create, like, I guess not innuendos, double meanings within some of my song titles as well. Yeah.
Like allegories.
Yeah, there you go. You'd think as the lyricist I'd be able to come up with the right say, but my brain was just melting then.
That's what I'm here for. No, I'm kidding. That is incredibly inspirational, because I feel like that's an issue a lot of people struggle with. Not to diminish what you go through, of course, but that's a very relatable thing for a lot of people, especially the youth. I know I had a very similar issue growing up, and I'll look at pictures of myself, because I gained a lot of weight last year, and I've lost some weight throughout the beginning of this year. And when I looked in the mirror at the end of last year, I still felt like I was okay, because I knew I could improve. But like, I knew I wasn't in a good place, but I knew I could improve. And I'd see pictures of myself from years ago, and I was a skinny little thing, with like maybe a tiny little bit of chub. And I was like, I thought I was fat. When I look at those old pictures, I thought I was fat back in, years ago when I was in middle school or whatever. And, last year I was actually pretty large, and I was like, I was not big. So it is literally, it can be completely distorted in your mind. I only say that to relate to the song, but
this is the thing. It's like, this is exactly why I've written it. It's like, this is my catharsis is released within the song. And if you can sit there and relate to the record, and it's so interesting that this is the first one you wanted to talk about, because obviously it's resonated with you on a personal level. I find that the more honest that I've got with my own lyrics and my struggles, the more people are able to relate to it. So body image is a tremendous thing, for, like you're saying, for the youth and just people in general. Like, not enough people talk about it. Like, I genuinely really struggle with it. And people look at me, you're crazy. It's like, you look fine. It's like, but I don't feel it. And like, I'll scrutinize pictures of myself, and I'll be in the best shape of my life, and I'm like, no, you're not looking too good there. So it's crazy how it can affect you sometimes.
Not to get all 1984, but that a lot of that I feel like is like social media. A lot of that, it feels like it can be social media, because we now have access to see what the peak of humanity looks like. I mean, I don't mean to be hypocritical, because this podcast is going to go out on a social media platform.
But listen to it on social media. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That has amplified the issue of, because at first, years ago, it was Hollywood, where you'd see movies and you'd see the peak of humanity. You'd see Arnold Schwarzenegger on steroids or whatever, and you're like, why can't I look like that? Because he's not transparent about the juice or whatever.
The gear.
And now social media has even amplified that. So I'm sure a lot of people have struggled with that. Well, I will say I bring it up because I relate, but also War of Ages is epic.
Absolutely. The moment you said your two favorite bands were Demon Hunter and War of Ages, I was like, oh, Let It Consume Me is going to be a, a talking point.
It is. But another song is that that I especially this morning specifically, I listened to. Now I listened to it before and I really liked it and it resonated, but like this I thought about it this morning and I wanted to bring it up was Love You Left Behind, cuz I feel like a lot of these songs deal with loss, and it was actually interesting to hear because I had that thought, and then I listened to the Kingdom Core podcast you were on a few years ago, and you had mentioned a lot of the members of the band. Not to get like super personal, super quick.
This was about. So this is why I wrote the record. I want to talk about
it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the members had been through a loss at a recent time, and I feel like a lot of that came through. Especially these were singles before the actual album release, but Still Haunted and Noble Bloom were very clearly about forms of loss. But I wanted to talk about Love You Left Behind specifically. Was there a specific like testimony behind that you feel went into the lyrics?
So I mean so Jack, our guitarist, he lost his mother last year, and it was very sudden. What ended up happening was both our guitarists, Jack and Jake, their mothers got diagnosed with cancer. Jake's mum got diagnosed with breast cancer, and then Jack's mum, about a month later, got diagnosed with brain cancer, and it was terminal. And she was given about 4 months to live. So, and this was right in the middle of the writing process of the record. And we were also going on tour with Convictions at this point as well. So we were coming through this process. I just want to say that Jake's mum is absolutely fine. She's survived and she's in remission now from the breast cancer. So she, she's blessed to still be with us now. And unfortunately, Jack's mum is not. She was given the diagnosis, and as we were kind of going through this, like Jack didn't come with us to America last time when we were on the road. So we actually, I don't know if you know the band Cultist, who were on Face Down.
Just sitting right there.
Okay, so Steve, the guitarist from Cultist, came out with us and did a fantastic job filling in. But essentially, through the process of Jack looking after his mother while she was slowly passing, I was talking to him on a regular basis about how he was feeling, and I said to him, well, how would you feel about documenting your grief through this process? And he was like, absolutely, I want to have some kind of cathartic release about this. So we started talking, and I said, well, just write your feelings down, just your raw emotions, like what you're experiencing right now. And we just had this shared document. And what I started to do was pull some of the most poignant lines into a bit more of a structure, and then started creating a bit more of a topic about it. And Starve, the opening song, is about the raw anger felt at being told about the diagnosis. And just being so hate-fueled and screaming for answers. Love You Left Behind is about denying it. It's about like, this cannot happen. I will fight like the daybreak coming to stop this happening. And Noble Bloom is about accepting the death. So we go through the stages of grief within the record, and it's obviously formulated this process. And so Love You Left Behind is the raw, like pleading with God, like I'm forgetting my own lyrics now. I'm gonna have to pull them up. I pray that dawn will never come. Don't slip away with the rising sun. The night sets in. I'm devoured by fear. erasing time to keep you here. So it's about that kind
Yeah.
of like pleading with God, like, please do not take her from me. And it, and then we transition into Noble Bloom, which is about accepting the decision, which is, you know, the chorus for that is, if I can't bend the will of heaven, I guess I'll say goodbye.
Yeah.
God, I have to question as I watch the blossom die. So it's like, why though have you taken her from me? Like, I don't understand. I accept it, but I don't understand it. And there's still a little bit of resolution yet to come. And you know, as we continue to write, there may come that in the next record of the acceptance. So it's a very, very painful record, and especially that song. And what's been really interesting is, since we released that song on the album, it's actually been the most streamed song from the album day. And we were like, oh, it'll just kind of blend into the background and be an album track. We're now looking at it going, oh wow, okay, this one's really seems to be hitting with people. So yeah, and it's very different from what we normally do as well. So the dynamics on the record, where you're seeing like Starve, which is 2 minutes of just raw anger, into Love You Left Behind, which is this very, very mellow, very melodic, all sung apart from one line song. So yeah, the record itself is utterly laced with like the pain of Jack's mother's passing, and essentially that's what the song is about. It's about trying to plead for her life.
Wow. It's very interesting to see that you guys go through the stages. I love when songs connect to each other, so you can listen to them all separately, but then you can go through the
Yeah.
whole album and listen to it. But that was the track. I don't think I said this on recording, so I'll say for the listening audience. This morning I listened to the whole album again while reading the lyrics. I woke up sick, so I was in the bathtub boiling myself, and I I was on that song, and it was the lyrics you just read that made me I shed a tear. And I don't cry very often to music. I'm not saying like I'm a tough guy, like I'm usually a very emotional person, but sometimes it can be difficult to have music make me cry. That song absolutely like had me like if I move the wrong way, I'll just start crying because that's a very like heartbreaking track, and a lot of them are in different ways, but like you said, that one's more mellow.
Yeah.
And you guys do a very good job, I feel like, at doing emotional topics, like Still Haunted, where it's emotional but you still keep the intensity of a metalcore track, which is a good thing. Some people might be afraid of that, but that's where a lot of the emotion, like you're talking about for Starve,
Yeah.
a lot of the emotion comes from, is the anger. But yeah, that one I was ready to bawl when I heard that track.
Thank you, man. Just hearing that response now on a one-to-one basis is so important to me, because it means that we have done her proud, and she can look down on Jack, and you know, be gracious in the knowledge that he's honoring her in the way that he feels he can. And I look at him, and I've never seen somebody go through so much emotional turmoil, and be so strong through it. So my admiration for that guy has just, it was already high, but it's just elevated to another level now. And we played Noble Bloom for the first time live on Saturday, and none of us could look at each other because we were all crying.
Yeah.
And again, that's the same with Still Haunted. We played Still Haunted and Noble Bloom back to back, and we were like, we might need a break on this. Like, these are emotional tracks, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's one of these ones where, like, if we're feeling it on stage, you know that, and we can see it out in the crowd as well. It's like, I want to write songs that mean something to people, and if I can see that and people resonate with that, hey, I've done my job, and that's all I want to do. Is I want to create emotion. I want to create a feeling within the room that sits with somebody for a long time.
Yeah. And I mean, so that does lead me to a question I was or a topic I was curious about. This is about a track that's what is it? It was a year ago that you guys released Hail Mary.
Oh
About a
yeah,
year
yeah,
ago
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
That one, I feel like that says I might want I might go through it again. I already have gone through the album several times, but like actually like doing lyrical analysis and stuff like that to see if this is the case. But I would say right now when I think about it, Hail Mary might be my favorite one lyrically because that's a hard topic. That is a hard topic to write about. Like I'm scared to talk about it right now, but I adore that song. Um, and another great feature, convictions on that one. But I wanted to ask you about that one. I know it's an older track, and we were talking about the more recent
Yeah, yeah,
ones,
yeah.
but um, I feel like that's also one. I feel like that has again. I'm looking from the outside in. That's another one I feel like has blown up for you guys.
Yeah, obviously working
Yeah,
with Mike on that was amazing, and I like we'd collaborated on this ahead of the tour as well that we went on to promote,
right.
what was going on. But um, I guess I'll give you the kind of background of this.
Hey, we'll get back to the awesome conversation in a second, but first, I just want to say if you like what you're listening to, you like what you're hearing, please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, whatever you do on the platform you're listening on to just show us a little support, show the insanely creepy algorithm kings, what's what. Also, if you have an idea of a great guest for us, please give it to us in the comments or on Instagram at firebrand.yt. We'll talk to anyone from the most niche deathcore band in the world to the hugest rock people, whatever you think would be a great guest for us to chat with, please let us know and we'll get back to it.
Convictions
Mhm.
pulled us out on tour in the States in 2023, and it was simply put, Zach, their drummer, DM'd me and went, "Hey, would you be up for coming out to America and touring with us?" And honestly, I lost my mind because we'd created a list. I've told them we created a list of bands that we wanted to tour with, and they were at the top, because we held them in so much reverence. Like they're such an incredible band,
Yeah,
and then out of the blue, just to DM us, and we hit it off immediately. It was just like, like this is an amazing friendship, and Mike and I mean, you know Mike personally anyway. That he's such an incredible person, the most generous, the most caring. Like I think he cares too much sometimes. Like he's so. Oh, I want everything to be, and I love him for that. But
yeah,
him and I, we were driving to Kentucky one day, on the road, and we were talking about our faiths and the differences between cultures of the US and the UK, and we were kind of like talking about new music, and I was saying to him, I said, "Oh, I've got a lot of family history that should really have turned me away from faith. With a severe amount of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse that has happened at the hands of priests in the Catholic Church." And
right.
he was like, "You mean church hurt?" And I was like, "What's church hurt?" I'd never heard of the phrase before, and it's been a term coined by Americans, and I said, "Well, can you explain it to me?" So, well, it's when somebody who's been a part of faith has been abused within the church, and we started talking, and he was like, "Well, why haven't you sung a song about that?" I was like, "Well, I don't feel brave enough. I don't feel like I can talk about it." And he was like, "You absolutely should." And he gave me the courage to write the song. And I'd written like bits of the lyrics and everything like that. I mean, you like Mike's lyrics again. Like he's someone I look up to, and I look at that man and I think he's just so fearless with his approach to stuff. And he really gave me the courage and confidence to write the track. And then when I finished writing it, I called him and I said, "Well, you helped me write this. Would you want to be on it?" And he was like, "Absolutely." So that's kind of how it came about. And essentially the song is written about my family's experience growing up in Ireland, because we're Irish, and my dad went to a monastery that was taught by monks, and my mum went to a convent that was taught by nuns, and they were physically, emotionally, sexually abused by the priests there. And
Wow.
what ended up happening, and this is the basis of the entire song, is they would commit heinous crimes on all of the children. It's not exclusively my family, all of the children. And they would be like, well, you're sinful. You know, in the eyes of the Lord, that you've committed sin. So you've got to go get your rosary beads, pray on your rosary. But this is very deep Catholic background, by the way. Pray on your rosaries to Mary and forgive your sin. So they would pray, you know, constantly, that, you know, to absolve them of the sin, but it would continue to happen. You know, they were like, well, hold on, like, is God punishing me for the way that I am? But what was happening is
Right.
the priests and the monks and the nuns were gaslighting the children into using the mother's prayer to absolve them so that they could continue abusing. So the song is literally about the use of the prayer to gaslight children. And the ironic thing is, when we released that song, boy, did we upset some people. Boy, were some people upset by it, because they were like, they were like, oh, this is. What was interesting is the lines that I thought were I knew it was going to be controversial. Like, whenever you call something out like that, it is. This is a true. This has happened to my family. This has happened to me. You know, and it's like, I'm telling you a story of what happened, and you are denying my truth. So
Yeah.
in fact, this song is written about people like you who continue to protect people who abuse, and this can, you know, the abuse can be something as simple as gaslighting, or it can be physical, emotional, sexual abuse. It's not exclusive. So it is completely like this song is about you. If you're upset about it, then it's about you. So it really showed the true colors of a lot of people when they got upset about it, and they were like, oh, your theology's wrong. And I was like, this song has nothing to do with theology. This is simply about children getting abused. If you don't like it, you're part of the problem. And it was like, and it's as simple as that. Because if you're upset about the wrong thing, I think you need to take a strong look in the mirror, mate. So yeah, that's essentially what the song is about.
I joked, and for any listeners out there, what I'm about to say is not true. It was a joke I made when I first heard the song, because I hadn't even listened to the whole song yet. I was listening to it with friends, and I think I was referring to it, and I was like, oh, it's that anti-Catholic song. And again, it is not. It is not, especially from what you just said. It is not an anti-Catholic song.
No.
It's an anti-abuse song.
Yeah.
We can all get behind that. But I made that joke before I had even fully gotten familiarized with the song, and I was with friends, and I didn't have to explain to them that I obviously don't. I have no problem with Catholics, but it's a. Getting into the lyrics, because again, I think it might be one of them. It's one of my favorite lyrically, because I've heard tell of church hurt. I've been seeing a lot more bands doing akin music to that sort of thing. Reformed did a single of false teachers.
Yeah, just recently, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Cultist, we were talking about them earlier. Preacher 3, one of my favorite deathcore songs ever. Anyway, that is one. It fits that topic, as heartbreaking as it is, fits metal, because when you hear stories like that, the human instinct is revenge and anger, and I love the way that all the songs approach it, because they're not actually encouraging anger or violence or anything like that. They still allow that righteous anger to come through while also expressing the biblical scripture filled like approach to it. But what I got out of it, especially when I heard it earlier, I've been listening to it since around the time it came out, but it's a bit of a touchy subject, so I'm going to be careful how I say it. Praying to the Virgin Mary about abuse of that fashion, like I'm going to choke up if I keep going, but I love the song for that approach, because I do think you handled it well, and I agree that if it's against abuse, you know all the words, but like, this is just a stacked album, and I cannot imagine, like you were talking about how you were tearing up on stage. I think I can say with a high degree of certainty people were having the same experience listening to it on release day.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just Hail Mary in general. When we played it in the States last time, like, we had people coming up to the merch stand and saying thank you for writing this song, and then telling us their stories about what has happened to them at church. I turned around to Mike and I was like, I have never experienced this before. Like, I don't know what to do about this. And within a day or two, and it happened every night. And within a day or two, I kind of grown accustomed to it. And I was like, well, hold on. This is why we wrote the song. This is exactly why we wrote, because we want to have the conversation. And it, it's written, we kind of drifted off. I'll pull it back and then I'll go back to it again.
Oh, you're totally fine.
Yeah, I wrote it in a manner that was going to elicit an emotional response from people. The opening line, Hail Mary, full of grace, I must reject your embrace, into the riff. Of course, people are going to be wound up by it. But exactly. But I'm there, but I'm like, you're going to listen to it now. You need to listen to it. Because
absolutely.
It's like Stigmata by Convictions.
I was just thinking about that. That's crazy.
You can crucify me upside down, and like they've stuck it on a T-shirt, and they've stuck it, and it's just like, and people are like, oh, that's anti-Christian. It's like, no, it's not. Like, go read the lyrics, but
as biblical as it gets.
But you couldn't get any more. So, but it's like it's not. Antagonistic's the wrong word. It's like, I want to grip you and I want you to listen. So I'm gonna say something, and now you have to listen to it, and I'm gonna tell you a story about it. So I'm glad that the joke was, it's a big anti-Catholic song. I'll tell you how Catholic my family are. My cousin was the Archbishop of Cardiff. Genuinely. He retired, I want to say about 7 years ago, but he would have moved into Cardinal, and obviously the Pope has just passed away recently. He would have been in the room deciding who the next Pope was going to be.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, super, super in bed. I went to Catholic school, Catholic college, Catholic university. Up to the age of like 22. That was my entire world.
Yeah.
It's all I kind of lived and breathed for a very, very long time. So it's not an anti-Catholic song. You could joke about it; it's absolutely fine. But and Kingdom Core did exactly that. He posted out, it was like, and he wound a few people up and was in the comments just poking them, and I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, you're getting wound up for the wrong reasons. But yeah, that was it was certainly a moment in time, and there's a few spicy videos online of people being upset by it. But hey, that's exactly why we wrote it. I tell you now, I was like, all those people who've suffered at the hands of evil people, I tell you now, they're probably more upset than you are. So maybe you take a moment and reflect a little bit. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what it's about, and I've certainly become more dogmatic in my approach to being as honest as I can with my songwriting.
Gosh, I mean, I thought when I first found you guys, I was into punishing myself before God does, and I thought that was like an emotional roller coaster. I was not prepared for. If only you warned us. No, I'm kidding. But trigger warning.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
No, but it is a roller coaster of an album. I thank you for being so open about like talking about all the different lyrics. One thing I will say, like slightly off topic, is so many of these podcasts have turned into Trevor Tyson or Mike Felker appreciation hour because they love collaborating and also like dipping their hands. I mean, Trevor was on uh Still Haunted, and then Mike's on Hail Mary, obviously. But so yeah, I guess it was inevitable that it would become that. But I think half of the podcasts at this point that they weren't on have turned into like.
Let's put it like this. I think when you have pillars of the Christian community,
Yeah.
like I think we need to hold them up, and you know, they are mouthpieces for the Lord, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
and they're dogmatic about it, and it's like we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Convictions. Like, I tell you now, like if it wasn't for them reaching out to us, there's not a chance we would have had the exposure we would have had on this record. And I've got nothing but praise for those guys, and look at them now, you know, they're out on tour with bigger bands, you know, they're about to go out with Born of Osiris. Like we're driving, we're going through Denver on the Saints and Heathens tour, and Zach lives in Denver, and we shot him a message, being like, oh, by the way, we're going to be in Denver in June, and he sent us the tour poster. He's like, sorry guys, and it's like, but it's incredible to be in a position where, you know, our friends, our peers have gone from the level that we're at to above that, to again exceeding that, and I can't think of a more deserving band than those guys. And you know, not only that, but we're really good friends as well. Like there's a mass group chat that has been there for like 2.5 years between Coat and Convictions, and we talk nigh on every day, so we're very very close. Yeah, we were trying to bring them over to the UK last year, but then they got offered the management and booking agent that they're on now, and just kind of went boop, and leveled up. And obviously their album The Fear of God was just incredible. So you know, these things are going to happen, and I think these, like Trevor as well, you know, needs to be championed as like pillars of our scene, because you know, this is new blood coming through. You know, in 10 years time, like you said about the tour that we're going on soon, people are going to turn around and go, oh, I wish I went to that. It's like, oh, I wish I went to Convictions when they were doing the Aggressive Worship tour. Well, they'll do it now. Like, do it. They are the best they've ever been, and you know, I think these guys need to be held in a really really high regard.
Yeah, and I was saying it like I was like semi complaining. I should clarify, I was not, because
God, stop complaining, man.
They're so nice. What's your problem?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of in a similar boat, because I was like, I wanted a few months ago, I was like, I want to do a Christian metal podcast because I've been obsessed with Christian metal the past 6 months, and I want to talk to some of these people and help promote new music and whatever. And then I was like, I don't know many people. I will say I'm blessed that my family knows John Schlitt from Petra, and that was a great episode about a month ago. But that's hard rock, and that was it was a spectacular episode, and I know that would have opened doors as well, but I wasn't able to get him on just yet. So I had the two people who gave me a chance when I had no subscribers were Robert Manzoni of With Blood Comes Cleansing. I saw them live, and Mike Felker being our first episode. I did vocal lessons, and afterward, I just was like, "Screw it! I'm gonna text him and ask." And he was open to do it. And then right before he got on, he goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, as of right now, you're like some of the only rollout for the deluxe edition of our new album." And I was like, "Why did you do that?" But
Pressure.
like the amount of trust he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry. Let me just try and carry all this. But I'm in a similar boat where it was just so kind of him and Trevor as well when he was on. He was incredibly helpful. So, and I will say also, since you were here, you were incredibly gracious as well with being on the show.
Well,
so
it took us long enough, but I think the time zone issue is another. I actually wanted to mention I met Robert Manzone he came to see us in Jacksonville, and he was our photographer that night, and I was like, I get like so. One of these things that I know because I watched the Meet Your Maker episode this morning is we don't have a scene in the UK. It does not exist. And it for me, like I look at I'm discovering so many new bands, which is why I'm so excited all the time, because I get to go over and see them. And like I'd never heard of with Blood Comes Cleansing. And I was like, what a phenomenal name for a Christian deathcore band. What an utterly incredible name. And then I've gone and checked them out, and they're unbelievable. Why wasn't I exposed to this as a kid? One of the bands that I never got into, well, I did get into, but was I kind of my exposure to Christian metal when I was growing up was War of Ages, Devil Wears Prada, and August Burns Red. I got into For Today too late. Like I heard when they...
Me too!
Yeah. When they released Break the Cycle, was like, oh, this is a really good song. And they were like, oh, they're breaking up now. I was like, oh, okay, well, there's no point in me re-listening to them if they're break. And then I've kind of gone back and I'm like, wow, they're really good. Like, really, really good. So I kind of missed that wave. And like, whenever I've gone over, the bands people talk to me about, they're like, oh, you should check this band out. Oh, you should check this band out. Oh, you should check this band. And it's like, so I'm discovering so much new music. And I'll tell you a fun little story. So the collaboration with Holy Name and Heal the Hurt came from, I'd only found out about this festival called Loud and Proud Festival, which is in Germany, which is a Christian rock and metal festival. And I was like, oh, I never knew this existed. I'm going to go over. Holy Name are on our record label. I've never met these guys. Like, I'm going to go over and I'd love to see them and support them. And they were like, Wolves at the Gate were playing and Disciple were playing. And I get a message because I'd met Trevor in Chattanooga, Tennessee, of all places, when we were on tour with Convictions, and he was like, "Oh, you're coming over to see us play," because he manages Holy Name, and I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Oh, do you want to sing?" I was like, "What do you mean? Do you want to sing?" He was like, "Do you want to come on stage and sing with Holy Name?" I was like, "Do I? Do I? Absolutely." And then Tommy hit me up, and I love Sleeping Giant. Again, I got into Sleeping Giant when we signed to Face Down. They'd already broken up, and I was like, "Oh, it's like this band are incredible." Tommy messages me, and he's like, "Oh, well, we'd like you on to sing a song or two." Ended up doing half the set with them, so I sung. The Sect, Mr. Millstone, and
Mr. Millstone. I would have loved to heard your That's like an I'm sorry, totally off topic. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Me and Michael, the co-host, is normally here. That is our secret favorite because it's totally underappreciated. It's very short, but I would have loved to have heard your version. If you have a video of that, anyway, go ahead. I hear the rest of the
I'm
song.
sure there's a video there somewhere, but I have never done like a trap. A trap metal song, and the irony is it's about abuse as well. So we just released Hail
true.
Mary, and like I felt that like God's moving in this world, and he's telling me to
Mm-hmm.
do these things, and there's a reason Tommy's asking me to do Mr. Millstone, and it felt very, very right. So yeah, I do you know what? I've got nothing on Brooke Reeves, let's put it like that, but I tried my best gutturals, and I was going.
I don't think anyone has anything on Brooke Reeves. I still want to hear what you did, because I'm sure it was great. But I mean, there's some, I can't say it now, but there was a period where he had a total chokehold on Christian deathcore. The poster
Yeah.
over there. Anyway, I totally interrupted you, but I want to hear the rest of the songs you did with them, because that's awesome.
Yeah, and then the last one was Fall on Your Knees. So me, Matt from Meet Your Maker, and Trevor all came up, and we did Fall on Your Knees together with Tommy and the guys. And what was really funny, and this is how Still Haunted was born, is just as we were going on stage, Trevor turns around to me and he goes, "Hey, Confession of a Traitor, Heal the Hurt, Holy Name. We should do a song together." And it was that flippant a comment, and then we walked on and we did Fall on Your Knees, and I went away and I was like, huh, I actually have a song, and I sent it to them, and then we did the 3-way collaboration on it, and it was just because of that comment that the song kind of was born out of that.
That seems like, just from the time I got to chat with him, that seems like such a Trevor thing to do.
Absolutely.
We're about to do like their most popular 8-minute long song, but
we should do one together. Yeah. And also, like, I'm used to short songs. Yeah. That's a great. I did wonder. I was like, is that the Holy Name shirt?
Yeah. I'm waiting to get a Confession shirt when I see you guys. I try to get, when I can, I try to get merch live, especially to avoid the shipping, but also because I love getting merch from the actual band.
We've sent, because Face Down obviously is our US distributor, but some people want to come to us to support us directly. We've got a very good relationship with Face Down when it comes to, they really do look after us. And the shipping to the US is extortionate. I cannot believe like that people are willing to pay that. So again, the support that we've seen for this record has been unbelievable. But yeah, so that's how that came about.
That sounds really last second. I'm a slightly more anxious fella. I don't see myself screaming on stage yet. Maybe if I get more lessons from Michael, that'll be in the stars. But I'm in my Trevor Talks era right now.
Well, I tell you what, you're going to be at the Atlanta show.
Yeah.
Why don't you learn some of the words for some of our stuff,
bro?
I'm putting it out there. You can.
It's on recording now.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. So I have to, because if the stars aligned and that happened, I would have to make a clip out of this where you say that and it cuts. And then it cuts
to it. Yeah. Hey, listen. Well, when we're there, we'll talk, and like Trevor's going to be in Atlanta, so we're obviously going to do Still Haunted together.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So just if there's something that you're kind of vibing and want to give a go, hey, come up with us. I'll let you mull on that. I'll let you mull on
myself. But that, my gosh, I will say you have been. I don't want to take up like too much more of your time. It's already been an hour, and I know it's later. It's a lot later for you. I keep forgetting that it's not 4:00 for you right now. But I got to say, this has been an incredibly fulfilling conversation. Thank you for joining me and being nice, so kind. Not that anyone hasn't, but this has been wonderful. I'm glad I was able to get some of the testimony from the album out, and I'm so stoked to see you guys in person soon. I bought those tickets months ago. I can't believe that's coming up already.
Yeah, we're the same. Like, I feel very underprepared. I'm neurotic when it comes to my preparation for tour. Like, I really like lock in, but we're off to the Netherlands this weekend. We're headlining a festival on Sunday, and then it's like 3 days, and then we're off to America. So it's like, it's just like, all of this stuff is happening at once, and yeah. So I'm very excited to be coming over. I mean, the first show's in Tennessee on the 13th of June, and then we're in the States for an entire month. So very, very excited to meet you in person, man. I'm gonna give you a big old hug when we meet. So I'm just a loving guy, man. I'm just a loving guy.
No, I'm a hugger too. Guys don't hug enough. They shake. What do? They do this.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's not a hug.
Nothing wrong with it.
That's not a hug. That's what it's not. Yeah. Yeah.
I say, but what's next for?
The next thing is the tour. So when this episode comes out on Saturday, that you said, we'll be in the States from the 13th of June to the 7th or 8th of July, and we're going all the way from Nashville down through the Midwest into Texas. And then up through California, so we're headlining like Chain Reaction all the way up to like Sacramento. Then we go across to like Salt Lake City, and then we're playing Audio Feed Festival as well.
Wow!
So it's a real stacked tour. You know, I hate it when bands are like, "Oh, we can't." We're obviously prepping for more music at some point. We're already writing and stuff like that. I'm very much
love to hear
like, spilled off this, like, in the current world that is modern music, people will listen to your record for about a month, and then they'll be going, "Where's the next one? Where's the next one coming out?" And so we're at the peak of where this album's at. We're 2.5 weeks in, so I've got about 50% or like 40% of my time left before people are demanding new songs.
Exactly.
So yeah,
you have the 36 minutes it takes to listen to the album.
That's it.
And then people are going to be asking for the next one.
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, that was good. Let's get another one." So yeah, we'll be back writing again. For me, I'd like some more stuff out a bit sooner. But we're signed up. We've got our visas now. This is our second round of visas, so we're going to be coming back more regularly. There seems to be a bit of a demand for us. I promise we'll make it down to Florida because I've got family down there that I want to see, and I love Florida.
Heck yeah.
But yeah,
we'll be there.
Yeah, man. But listen, thank you for having me on and taking the time to talk to me. It's been an absolute blessing, and I've had such a lovely time. You've done your research on me, which is fun. Always get a bit nervous when somebody says, "I've done my research on you," and I'm like, what have you found?"
I have my receipts.
Yeah.
No, it's just learning about like the band and stuff. But I appreciate you saying that. That's very kind. I will say I think you are the one taking the time out of your schedule to do this. So thank you. We'll keep patting each other on the back after I'm done recording. But if you have watched any of the episodes to the end, you might know what I'm about to ask. But if not, I'll ask it anyway. Are you comfortable ending today's episode off in a prayer?
Oh, dude, absolutely, yeah. Lord Jesus, I just want to thank you today for blessing us with each other's time. I've had an incredible experience today. And I pray that Brandon continues to flourish in his endeavors for, the podcast and his health, and that he continues to grow as an individual. And you fill him full of the courage that you've given me to stand on stage and preach your word, God. Amen.
Amen. What a blast. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the episode, but I scheduled the episode and screwed up because of the time difference between the UK and America. I was an hour off, so poor Steven was waiting in the call for me and messaged me, and I felt terrible about it, but he was incredibly gracious about that. So thank you to Steven again for that. It was a phenomenal conversation. Got to talk about a variety of emotional and also separately from that fun topics that meant a lot. And again, listen to This Pain Will Serve You, an incredibly emotional metalcore album with the foundation of the spirit under it. So give them some love and go to the Saints and Heathens tour. They're going to be all over the U.S. This June. Yeah, go and check them out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. God made you special, and He loves you very much. Bye-bye. And I bless you too, Stephen. Too many people have just prayed for me at the end of the episode, and I do feel a little bad. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, but it makes me feel bad because I'm like, I don't want everyone to be like, oh, he's just getting all these vocalists to pray over him and bless him at the end of the episode. He's stealing
So
spiritual currency.
Yeah. Spiritual currency, yeah.